Most people either hate apple cider vinegar or treat it like a miracle potion. They either scroll past videos like this because they think they already know everything, or they drink it every day believing it's melting fat and detoxing their body. And both groups are missing the truth, because apple cider vinegar is neither magic nor useless. It's something far more interesting, far more misunderstood, and far more specific in how it actually works inside your body. Once you understand this, you'll finally understand why it helps some people, does nothing for others, and can even cause problems when it's used the wrong way. Apple cider vinegar is not a health drink. It's not a cleanse, it's not a detox, and it's not burning fat while you sleep. What it actually is a metabolic signal, and your body responds to signals more than it responds to calories, supplements, or trends. When you understand how signaling works, everything about apple cider vinegar suddenly starts to make sense. Let's start with the real problem most people are dealing with today, even if they don't realize it yet. That problem is high blood sugar, not just diabetes, not just prediabetes, but repeated spikes in blood sugar throughout the day. Every time you eat, especially meals high in refined carbohydrates or sugar, glucose enters your bloodstream. Your body responds by releasing insulin to push that sugar into your cells. That's normal, that's survival. But the problem isn't that blood sugar goes up. The problem is how fast and how often it goes up. When blood sugar rises too quickly, insulin has to spike higher to keep up with it. Over time, those repeated spikes create insulin resistance. Cells stop responding properly, the pancreas has to work harder, energy levels crash, hunger increases, and fat storage accelerates. The liver begins converting excess glucose into fat. Slowly and quietly, the body moves toward metabolic syndrome, fatty liver, obesity, and eventually type 2 diabetes. This has nothing to do with willpower, and it's not just about calories. This is about metabolic signaling. Here's what almost nobody talks about. It's not just how high your blood sugar goes, it's how fast it gets there. Speed matters, and this is where apple cider vinegar enters the conversation. Apple cider vinegar does not burn fat. It does not melt calories, and it does not magically improve metabolism. What it does is slow things down inside the body. The acetic acid in apple cider vinegar slows gastric emptying, meaning food leaves your stomach more slowly. When food moves more slowly into the small intestine, sugar is absorbed at a slower, more controlled pace. Blood sugar rises more gradually. Because blood sugar rises slower, insulin doesn't need to spike as high. When insulin stays lower, the body is less likely to store fat and more likely to maintain steady energy levels throughout the day. This is why some people notice fewer energy crashes, fewer cravings, and better focus when they use apple cider vinegar before meals. Not because it's stimulating, but because it's stabilizing. Stability is what your metabolism thrives on. There is also an important connection between the pancreas and the liver that most people overlook. When blood sugar spikes less aggressively, the pancreas doesn't have to work as hard to produce insulin. Over time, reducing that constant insulin demand can improve insulin sensitivity. When insulin sensitivity improves, the liver is less likely to convert excess glucose into fat. This is why apple cider vinegar has been studied for metabolic and liver health. Not as a cure and not as a treatment, but as a supportive signal that helps the body handle sugar more efficiently. Now, this is where many people make a serious mistake. Once they hear apple cider vinegar helps with blood sugar, they assume more is better. Some people start drinking it straight, undiluted, and that's a big problem. Drinking apple cider vinegar straight can damage tooth enamel, irritate the throat, worsen reflux, and aggravate the stomach lining. Pain is not progress, and discomfort is not proof that something is working. Using apple cider vinegar correctly is actually very simple. 1 teaspoon up to 1 tablespoon diluted in a full glass of water, taken shortly before a meal. This is about timing, not quantity. Not all day long, not multiple times back to back. You can use a straw, and you can rinse your mouth afterward if needed. If you have reflux, ulcers, or dental issues, talk to your healthcare provider first. Let me say this very clearly. You do not need apple cider vinegar to be healthy. If you hate the taste, you don't need it, and if it upsets your stomach, don't use it. This is not a requirement for health, and it's not a shortcut. It's simply one optional tool that can help some people improve blood sugar control and metabolic signaling when used correctly. The bigger lesson here isn't really about vinegar at all. Small metabolic improvements done consistently are far more powerful than extreme diets